So I'm coming at you late today from the Ripple Effect HQ, which just basically means my guest bedroom. That is my studio. But there's been a lot going on today, and I actually just saw a recent report that came out. So Greg Bovino is stepping down, or rather being pushed down from his position that he had as overall in charge of Border Patrol. He's being sent back down to the El Centro area. Tom Holman will be taking his place. Surprisingly, Mohammed becomes, not surprisingly, actually not surprising at all, but Mohammed becomes the #1 boys name for New York City and London. The F word. The F word that is getting Americans killed in Minnesota right now. And we need to get into what that F word is. Welcome to the Ripple Effect. So to start off with, it's being announced that Mohammed is the #1 name from both New York City and London. And even though that's no surprise, and I know that's not the story you guys are as much interested in, I think it goes hand in hand with what is going on right now across the country. And it seems to come at a terrible time if you're an Islamist. It comes at a terrible time when the fraud that is coming from the Somalians is so incredibly high. So incredibly high. If you ever watch a Nick Shirley video, you'll see what's going on, and he's kind of breaking the news on this. But what's crazy is these people are the type of people, because they believe in Islam and they don't believe in any good religion whatsoever, they do not understand and do not believe that they have to be honest, that they have to be right and correct or immoral in any way, shape, or form. As long as they follow their stuff, it doesn't matter. As long as they propagate their religion and benefit themselves, it doesn't matter. And so these people will go out of their way to do anything to defraud us. And they are so unscrupulous, lying, horrible people when it comes to this kind of things. And this, unfortunately, has become an actual thing where it's kind of hard to find a good one. And when you go into a society where there was one of the guys that was protesting against Nick Shirley was saying that, why are you attacking us 80,000 people in Minnesota? And he goes, there may be 80,000 of you, but there's 800 daycares, and every one we've gone to so far hasn't actually existed, which just blows your minds of how deep the rot goes. And it's just so incredibly important for us to understand how big this battle is, and that we cannot let this Islamic battle go without fighting back. They will take over our country and ruin everything that our country stands for and believes if we don't fight back against this push from them. And they are nonstop, they are relentless, and they will use everything they can against us, including our own beliefs, if that makes any sense. Now, along that theme, the fact that Starmer over in London has said that Christians cannot gather in the streets of London because it might be offensive to the Islamists over there, to the Muslims. London? You mean this country, the capital city of a country that literally sent people to the Crusades? Now, again, I'm not for the Crusades. I'm just saying, they've defeated you guys. They've defeated you. And do we want them defeating us too? Do we want this to be the history of what happens to us too, where they overtake us as well? And yes, it isn't us versus them. Okay? The left will try to make it sound like that's a horrible thing to say. It is not. When someone believes garbage and you don't believe garbage, it's okay to say that they're wrong and not allow them to have control. And the fact that we're allowing this to be imported into our country has been the fact that what's been destroying and rotting our country for so long. And it's getting just too much. It's tearing us apart. So Greg Bovino, there's a lot of things apparently that they're kind of accusing him of with regards to a lot of stuff that's been happening recently. And they're saying that he's kind of set the tone for most of it. And that's why there were so many issues. Probably true. Apparently he was getting very feisty online, and so they relieved him of that command that he's in, and they are going to do things in a different way. And I think it's good. I stand behind ICE 100%, but I think it's good to have intelligence there too. Not just intelligence, I'm talking about emotional intelligence. The person they're sending in is Tom Holman. And Tom Holman, if all the things you can accuse him of, you cannot accuse him of not having emotional intelligence. That man made the lefties look like absolute loons when he went for his confirmation hearing. when they lefties were going after him, and he was talking about all the children that he would go in so that his men wouldn't have to do it, and pulling these bodies out of these containers because these kids had died from the heat and everything like that in there, trying to being smuggled into the United States. That's kind of a person you can't really argue against, that he cares even for those children and the illegals that are coming in. So I think it's a good change. And unfortunately, might be a little bit too late. We already seem to be having nonstop problems over there, and I don't know how to fix it. I mean, unless you start literally arresting everybody, just bring in all the National Guard and start arresting every single last person and throwing the entire book at them. I don't know how you fix it, because the left. I'll get into that. I'll get into the war. I'll get into the war in a second. On that note, leading into this, apparently in Washington, a man was stabbed and his dog was stabbed. And the reason why they were stabbed was because they answered the question of what your religion was. And this is along the same theme here, guys. His religion, he said, was Christian. And the man proceeded to stab him and his dog. And again, I don't know what the dog had to do with it, why you would stab the dog, but here's the answer. So what was the right answer, dude? What was the right answer? So you're gonna just go stabbing people that say they're Christian? We are under attack in this country. We're under attack across the world. And we can lose everything if we don't realize that we're in a war and fight back. And this is where I'm going to go with my final point here. It's actually quite a short video. I was actually expecting it to be longer. But here's my final point. The F word that is getting Americans killed right now is the fog of war. The fog of war. And the left declared war on us a long time ago, and to some degree, we had no idea how much they were declaring war on us. We thought we were all playing the same game, and we weren't playing the same game at all. And we're still reeling from the blows that have been pounded and pounded and pounded into our country. And now that we're fighting back, we've now finally understood that we're waging a full-on war. You want to see a full-on war? Look at Minnesota. That is the full-on war that is going on, being played out. Over what? Kicking illegal aliens out and fraud. And don't think the fraud's not involved in this. Don't think it's not involved, because nothing irritates the Democrats more. And that tells you what kind of just absolute human debris and filth they are. That they can't handle illegal people who should not be here being removed. Why? Why don't they want illegals to be removed? Is it because they're getting their votes? Absolutely. Absolutely, they are getting their votes. 100% they are getting their votes. And how does that work? They get their votes, so they give money to them so that they can get their votes, okay? So all the free welfare and all the free benefits and all the free other stuff and all this fraud that's going on with the Somalis and all that kind of stuff, they give it out and then get it back. It's amazing that one of the things that happened after USAID was canceled in many areas and all that stuff, that all of a sudden a bunch of Democrats couldn't raise the money that they have always met their budgets before for raising money for their party. But as soon as you take away USAID, in some of these crazy ways, and all of a sudden, because you start taking away the fraud, all of a sudden now they're not able to raise their money? Weird, because year after year they were able to do it before that. You mean when you cut fraud, all of a sudden the pockets of the Democrats are not being shoved full of cash? That's the kind of crap that we deal with. Those are the people that are just full of junk, that are useless, absolutely useless human beings. And the saddest part is that now people are being killed because of that fog of war. You are making it a war zone, not the ICE. You Democrat losers out there, you are making it a war zone by all the constant sirens and the honking of the horns and the bullhorns and the whistles and everything else. You're killing them. And the saddest, the sickest, absolutely worst part of this is that if you're actually a lefty listening to this, you're probably gleeful. You're probably happy that your people are being shot because you want to use it as a tool to go after the conservatives and the Republicans. That's what separates us and you. When we say that you're wicked, we know what that entails, and you rejoice in it. That shows what kind of people you are versus us. We are saddened by the loss of any life, even this Peretti guy. I forget how to exactly say his name. No one seems to know. We're saddened by him. We're saddened by good. We're saddened by anyone that dies. And yet you guys want nothing more than for all of us to die. That's the kind of refuse you are. And if you think we're going to stand by and watch it happen, you've got another thing coming, because America, I think, is beginning to wake up and realize just how bad and insane you are. And you know how far I know it's going? That when they did the protest of that church, they purposely were blocking parents from getting to their children who were in Sunday school. What kind of people, if they're human, what kind of humans do that? And I'll warn you, Americans are done with this. So keep that up, and you might not find a church that'll put up with that kind of stuff. Because I hate to say it, and I'm not one for inciting violence. I'm one for putting down your crappy violence. But I'll tell you this right now. You try to get between me and my kids, and there's many, many, many men like me. I'm not the only one saying this. In fact, most real men say this. You try to get between a parent and their child, and you deserve everything that's coming at you. And you might find out that some people will meet your violence with violence. And this is no incitement of violence. This is incitement of defense of people and their families and their children. And you've come after us. And you keep hitting us, and you keep hitting us, and you keep hitting us. And you keep creating this fog of war because it is war. Well, guess what? The war is coming back, and people have opened their eyes to what's happening. And it's going to change America because we're tired of this nonsense. We're over this nonsense. And we're fighting back. And we're never going to let you take over the country with all the garbage that you entail. And now we're digging. Now the Trump administration is digging into all your fraud. And they're going to find all your fraud and all your junk. And I can just hope that it keeps going. And even if we start losing elections, I don't care. As long as we can still expose your fraud and start defunding you. And what I'm thinking is going to start happening is when they start finding all the fraud and defunding you, you won't have as much power as you've had. Because you get your power from darkness, lies, and fraud. That's the Democratic Party. I know this was different than what we usually have, but it needed to be said. So if you want to see less people die in places like Minnesota, stop making it into a battleground. Stop making it war. Let people that have the job do their job. And I'm not talking about the protesters who get paid to protest. No. I'm talking about the federal agents. Thank you so much for watching The Ripple Effect. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I appreciate it. This is what we do. We fight back because we have to stand for our country. Thank you so much.